So one of our presidential candidates has backed the plan that President Biden has proposed. When it comes to taxing your unrealized capital gains, I really just wanted to talk about this because it's not just about real estate when it comes to unrealized capital gains. It's also about stocks and crypto and anything else that you own that is considered a capital gain. So let's just talk about this a little bit, and you tell me if you think it's a good idea. Actually, if you can, please, right now, please just go into the comments and just say it's a good idea if you like this plan, or it's a bad idea if you don't like the plan, or just put something positive or something negative in there. Please, I want to know what you guys think. So here's how I see this plan that is being proposed, and this won't be in effect anytime soon, but it probably will be within a year, depending on who wins the election. By the way, my name is Maciek Zaremba. I am a real estate agent in Sarasota County, Florida, and if you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, just give me a call, 941-888-SOLD. All right, let's get into my thoughts on this 25% long-term capital gains. And that's not the only one, right? It's actually, I think, 24%, but there's also a 44.5% long-term capital gains tax when you do sell. Let's just talk about this. So here's how I see it. First of all, think about it like this. You buy something today, let's just say you buy, $100 worth of a stock, and let's just say it's at the beginning of the year, and by the end of the year, that $100 worth of stock went up to $150. Now, the proposed tax would be that you would get taxed prior, you haven't even sold the stock yet. It's worth $150 now at the end of the year. You haven't sold it, but you're going to owe money, 24.5% of the $50 gain, which is the question is, why would I owe money? That's going to force me to sell the stock. Yes, it will, unless you got cash money laying around that you can just pay. So when it comes to stocks, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to real estate, you have something that went up in value, and prior to even selling it, you are being taxed. Now, one of the things that I think is going to greatly affect the real estate market and the stock market, especially the stock market and the crypto market, is going to be that at the end of the year, what they're going to do is a lot of people are going to sell their stuff. So, being more liquid than real estate, stocks and crypto are going to basically have a mass sell-off every single year if this kind of plan comes through. And I mean, is that good or is that bad? Well, it doesn't look too good on the economy. It just looks like everyone's panicking and selling, but all they're doing is they need to get the money to pay the tax man, because they're going to have to pay the tax man, and it's better to get one step ahead of everyone selling. If everyone's going to owe the money, in January and February when they file their taxes, it's better to get ahead of them, sell in November and December. So there's going to be a lot of selling at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year, every single year, because taxes are going to be due on something you haven't sold yet. And a lot of people just don't have the money to pay the IRS for the long term, or for the capital gains, I should say. So let's give you another example. Let's just say you're a buy and hold investor. You've been listening to all the financial analysts, and they've been telling you, hey, if you just put in money into your stock portfolio every single month, let's just say 5% of all your earnings, over and over every week, you get paid, you buy more stock, and then this law changes, guess what? You're going to have to pay a shitload of money to the IRS. So much money, because it's going to be 25% of the gains. All that means is like 25% or 24.5% of the profit, even though the profit hasn't been made because you haven't sold. So people's portfolios are going to be going down dramatically, and that stock sell-off is going to happen, and the crypto sell-off is going to happen. But real estate, let's talk about that for a moment. That is a completely different ballgame. Real estate it's horrible for real estate, okay? Because a lot of people are on fixed budgets. So if you're going, I mean, let's just pick you know, a freshly retired couple. They're 65 years old. They bought a property 4 years ago, let's say, in Florida, of course, let's just say for $500,000. And today that property is worth $750,000. That's a $250,000 quote unquote gain, right? And they want to tax 24.5% of that. Okay, where is that couple gonna get that money? That's like what, $75,000, $70,000? I don't know what it is. It's a damn lot of money. So where are they gonna get that money from? A lot of people are gonna say, well, there goes my retirement dreams. I might as well just hold cash, sell my property, pay those taxes once, and get out of this whole investing scenario. And that's what I think a lot of people will do. And what about the long-term investors? People who have owned property, like I own multiple properties and I have mortgages on a lot of them. I'm barely breaking even on some and I'm profiting on others. There is no room on some of the properties to pay an arbitrary number of a capital gain. Okay, like if you buy a property today, let's just talk about real numbers. If you buy a property for $100,000 and the property goes up in value but the rents don't, you're still going to owe money. You're still going to owe money. Who makes this plan? Okay, I'm not talking about any specific political party or any specific politician. I'm talking about the general idea of this concept. Who the hell is thinking that this is a really good idea? Now, let's shift. Where is it going to be beneficial? Because there is one thing that it's going to do, and that's going to bring in a lot of money from the general population, and is going to bring it to government spending. And you know how the government spending is. There's zero accountability to government spending. There's zero. There is no government spending accountability task force like Elon Musk proposed, which is quite frankly a good idea. I mean, why shouldn't the government have an accountability task force? That is a very good idea. I want to know where the money is going, and I think most people want to as well. You know, but when it comes to the money going into government so that the government can start paying off some of their debts, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good way to get money, a lot of money, okay? Now, who is this actually going to affect more, and who is this not going to affect at all? And some people are going to say, I think Democrats would say, that it's going to affect the rich people. And I think it affects everybody, right? Well, as soon as there's a law change for the IRS, everyone is affected by it. So whether you have a lot of assets or a little bit of assets, just, you know, maybe the question is how much is it going to affect you? But at the end of the day, it's going to affect everybody, including your future investing decisions, right? So here's the way I see this. The people who are poor, let's just say the migrants, okay? Let's just say which I call illegal immigrants, okay? Let's just say the illegal immigrants who have come into the country, who have zero assets, they're getting handouts, they're getting housing, and they're getting food vouchers. Those people are not going to be affected yet. But you know what's going to happen psychologically to those people? Is that their incentive to, you know, get the American dream, which is home ownership, at least that's what it used to be, is pretty much being squashed. There's no more, there's no reason anymore to go after the American dream of home ownership, because you're going to be taxed on just owning a property. Even if you come in with $1 million cash and you buy a property for $1 million and your whole family lives in it, well, if it goes up to 1.1 million, you're going to owe $24,500 to the IRS the next year just because it like arbitrarily went up in value. And like, who's determining these values? Is this based on an independent appraiser? You know, I have so many questions about this because I just don't see this happening, and any kind of automated valuation system is going to be as good as Zillow's Zestimate. And you know, Zillow has a lot of good things going for it, but that Zestimate has been proven over and over again to be inaccurate. That's the bottom line, okay? It's been inaccurate. So, I mean, even the Zillow CEO, when he was selling his house a few years back, his home was, you know, sold for $2 million less than his Zestimate was showing. So I'm just kind of thinking, who is this really going to affect? Yeah, the people that have more money, the people that have a big stock portfolio, the people who have a whole bunch of buy and hold crypto or buy and hold real estate, buy and hold, stocks and bonds and securities. But I have this feeling all it's going to do is it's going to drain money out of the middle class even further, and it will cause prices of everything to go down, which is a deflationary measure. You know, our inflation has been a little bit out of control for a while, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we need a little less inflation, and although we just got numbers back a couple days ago, and the inflation numbers did go down, which is nice. But at the end of the day, are you going to be happy living in an economy where you're not going to want to own because there's no point, because it's going to cost you way more money to own than it would to rent, okay? Way more. And then if you rent, well, you know, they do say, I don't know who these people are that are saying this, these are some conspiracy theorists, but they're saying that we will own nothing and be happy. And, you know, it kind of reminds me of Star Trek, people living on the USS Enterprise 1701D or whatever, and they got their little cabin, they got their hologram room, what is it called? I forget, the holodeck, and they're happy. They just like press a button, they get their food, doors open for them. There seems to be never any maintenance needed on these ships, and they're just like doing their job, and they're not earning any money, they're not gaining wealth, they just have relationships with random people working on the ship, and aliens, I guess, too, because there's a whole bunch of people. But it kind of reminds me of that, you know, where no one owns anything but the USS Enterprise. I don't know who owns that, but somebody owns that. And then there's, you know, computer. They're like, hey, computer, tell me this. And, you know, it's like basically AI, right? So we are kind of going that way, although we are very, very far away from it. And I don't want to go there. I don't think that's a good idea for society. Part of the innovation that we have going on is because we have the financial reward to innovate. Part of the risk that landlords like myself and real estate investors take is in order to get a return. And if you know that you're going to have to give 25% a year on anything that it goes up in value, and then after that, let's talk about the long-term capital gains tax. Right now it's about 15-20%. They're saying to bring it up to 44%. That's nuts. So like, you worked hard, you improved a piece of crap property, you made it look really good, you spent money and a lot of labor. And now they're not valuing that labor for you. Let's just say you improved a property over 3 years that you lived in, and it went from, you know, a $300,000 to a $600,000 valuation, and then they want to tax you a good 44% of that increase. So now you thought you're going to make $300,000 on that sale, but no, you're going to make, like 170. Or something like that, which still sounds like it's really good, but will that be worth it? Will you do that, to find the deal, to do all that sweat equity, all that labor? Will you do it? I won't. I most likely won't. There has to be a lot of room for appreciation in order for me to go forward with that kind of investing. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like if this tax plan gets put through, there's going to be a loophole, and the loophole will only be available to the 1 to 2% of the US, and the general public, like you and myself, are going to get rammed, and we're not going to win. That's my prediction. What do you think? Drop a comment. Please let me know what you think.